You'll take an oath of office. You'll take an oath before we are able to engage you.
Okay. I, Monica Salano Feather, of National ID number 9252909,
having been duly nominated to serve
as the County Executive Committee member.
She must redo it.
You'll repeat after me.
Okay. Okay.
You start again.
I, Monica Salano Feather, of National ID number 9252909,
having been duly nominated to serve
as
County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma, do hereby solemnly and sincerely swear that the information that I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Okay, thank you. You'll take your seat and sign the oath. Okay, thank you. Welcome. I'm Honorable Situma, Emmanuel the Speaker. With me I have the following members of the committee on appointments.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Stephen Wafula Malwa, MCA, member of this committee.
Chair, I'm Honorable Joseph Juma, a member of this committee.
Chair, I'm Joan Kirom, member of this committee.
Chair, my name is Anthony Lusanaka, member of this committee.
Chair, Evelyn Mutiembu, member.
Wangila, member.
Muhongo Barasa, member.
Chair, Mchoch Makari, member.
Have one honorable has stepped out. I think he's coming back. He's gone for health break. Honorable, I have also the Deputy Clerk Legislative. Introduce your staff, the Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Momos Leonard, the Deputy Clerk Legislative. I have a team of staff to help us. Let them do self-introduction.
Chair, I'm Elijah Odera, Research Officer, member of the Secretariat.
Chair, I'm Caroline Omalwa, the Deputy Hansard Officer, Deputy Hansard Editor and member of the Secretariat.
Chair, I'm Edward Musumba, I'm Legal Counsel.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Kalisa Zingira, Chief Sergeant at Arms, member of the Secretariat.
Chair, my name is Dr. Ntabey, Senior Clerk Assistant, member of the Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Ruth Wanami, Senior Clerk Assistant, member of the Secretariat.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Mash Manase Misiko, Communication.
Yes, Honorable Chemion, introduce yourself, please.
Honorable Chemion Masai, member.
Thank you. Honorable members, Madam will have questions put to you by the members here, especially on your questionnaire here, and of course, concerning the department you seek to head, if this committee finds you fit to approve, to recommend your approval or your rejection. So we'll be able to ask you questions. I'll start. Generally, you'll give us a summary. Before that, let's have your books, your academic qualification documents to verify some of those items. And we are going to give you our writing material. We don't have the history situations where you refer to notes. You'll have a book from me here. The rest be kept away from you. Callistus, you'll pass over this one. The rest will be kept behind them. You'll not use your notebook, you'll use our notebook. We only need you to have your questionnaire. You have your questionnaire copy?
I did not make a copy.
So we're going to refer you because we'll be reading. The rest be kept behind the other side.
Okay.
Especially your notebook.
Okay, fine. So here are my certificates.
So we'll be verifying these ones, but the rest be taken and by our chief sergeant, be kept behind. You don't require to have a notebook. It's okay. Now we'll want to know from you. Just give us a summary of who is Monica Feather.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. My name is Monica Salano Feather. I was born in 1968 in a small village called Lungai. I like calling it Elungai, which is in Naitiri Kabiefe ward of Tongaren sub-county, Bungoma County. I'm married with children. I started my primary school education in a village school called Lungai Primary School, which is again in the same ward of Naitiri Kabiefe in Tongaren sub-county, Naitiri location, where I sat for my CPE and got 32 points, and I was privileged to be called to Kaimosi Girls High School. By then it was called the Girls Boarding School in Vihiga County. In that school I sat for the KCE exam, Kenya Certificate of Education, where I got Division 1. And I would mention here that during my studies at Kaimosi Girls High School, between Form 1 and Form 4, I was the outstanding English student and I was given a very big dictionary. So I proceeded to Butere Girls High School for my A-levels, where I again qualified after sitting for my Kenya Advanced Certificate of Education. I got 3 principals and a subsidiary. And again in that year, I emerged the best student at Butere Girls. Then I proceeded to Egerton University for my undergraduate or a bachelor's course. But again, before joining Egerton University, I went for the pre-university National Youth Service training. It was mandatory that before you join university, you go for a 3 months training at NYS. So I successfully did that NYS training and joined Egerton University, where I studied a course in agriculture and home economics. This course was 60% agriculture and 40% home economics. And I'll just also add a little bit about that course, because it's very good that, when you go for the undergraduate, that course you do at degree level determines your future career and your future postgraduate qualifications. So in this course, I did crop production, animal diseases, foods and nutrition, agroforestry. Then under home economics, I did child care. I also did cookery, clothes and design. At one point, we thought we were overtrained, but that was it. So after graduation, I was now a citizen in the job-seeking market, but unfortunately, we were not employed immediately after our graduation. I remember on graduation day, the chairman of the council, Professor Asinjo, said, young people, you have graduated, but incidentally, you do not have to be employed because there are no jobs. So I went back home and told my parents that we have graduated, yes, but we are not being employed. So I took a step to look for a job, and the only alternative was to be a teacher. So I walked to the nearest school called Luhuna Secondary School, where I asked the headmaster to give me a chance to teach. So he actually told me that in Form 1 and Form 2 at Luhuna Secondary School, there were no maths teachers. So he allowed me to teach mathematics in Form 1 and Form 2 at that school. So I taught at Luhuna in 1990, 91, and part of 92. Then moved to St. Joseph's High School again to teach. And at this point, I had decided that I can be a fully fledged teacher. So I applied to enter TSC, so I got a TSC number. Luckily, the time I was being given a letter from TSC, I also received a letter from Public Service Commission inviting me for an interview so that I could be employed. I was very happy. I went, the interview took like 5 minutes because I think it was just a suitability interview to see whether we are still existing 4 or 3 years after graduation. So after the interview, I was posted to Rift Valley Province, specifically Elgeyo Marakwet, as an agricultural officer, where I worked for around 11 years. But because transfers were not forthcoming, I decided to go for postgraduate studies. So at that point, I took a Ukulima Sacco loan and enrolled at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology for a master's course in food science and post-harvest technology. So I did that course until 2007, after which I was appointed as a district agricultural officer in Kisumu West District. I think I also need to mention that while in Elgeyo Marakwet District, we trained farmers in good agriculture practices. We were lucky to really mentor a farmer who became the best mango farmer in Kenya, Mr. Francis Kiplagat. So even subsequently, when I was working as a DAO in Kisumu West District, I would take my farmers to go and benchmark in Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet County, so that they could also learn good practices of horticulture. So I worked in as a DAO for around, from 2007 until 2013, when Bungoma County advertised positions of chief officers, because it was at the advent of devolution. So I applied and was successfully vetted by this county, the County Assembly of Bungoma, the first County Assembly. Then I was appointed by His Excellency the Governor as Chief Officer, Agriculture, Irrigation and Cooperatives. But after around 5 months as a Chief Officer, we decided with the then County Executive Committee member that we can split the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation and Cooperatives into two so that we can have a cooperatives chief officer. So at that point, the County Public Service Board was advised to create that position of chief officer cooperatives. So I was now serving as chief officer, agriculture and irrigation for 1 year until 2014. That is from 2014 to 2015. Then in May 2015, I was reassigned to the position of Chief Officer, Education, Youth Affairs and Sports. Again, after 1 year in that ministry, again, the county governor appointed me to act as Chief Officer, Livestock and Fisheries, because at that time, one of our colleagues had passed on. So I worked until 2018 as a Chief Officer, Education, Youth Affairs and Sports until my contract lapsed. During that time, just before my contract lapsed, I went to do another course called Strategic Leadership Development course. And at this point, I'll also say that I've actually attended several courses, several short courses that have really given me ability to work in all, in various capacities, because as you can see, I have worked as Chief Officer, Agriculture, Irrigation Cooperatives. I've worked as Chief Officer, Education, Youth Affairs and Sports. And then I've also worked as a DAO. And as a pioneer DAO of Kisumu West District, we produced the best small-scale farmer in the country, who was later given a head of state commendation by His Excellency, the late Mwai Kibaki. I've also attended some courses abroad. In 2004, I went to the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences, where I did a course in food and agro-processing machinery. I have been to Botswana in 2005 to attend a course in innovative livestock management systems. So I think at that point, I can say that is the story of my academic life and my professional life and work experience.
Thank you. We'll go to Honorable Joseph Nyongesa.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe before I go to my question, because I've gone through the questionnaire, looking at questionnaire number 23, then you come to question number 27, whereby comparing this, the earnings of Madam Monica Feather Salano, but he has done nothing with the community. What went wrong, Madam?
Pardon?
They're saying, look at number 23, your resources, but now pro bono charity work donations is zero.
Does it mean you are so stingy?
Thank you very much. I think, this question 27 is talking about pro bono, charity work, donations to charity. Describe what you have done by way of pro bono or charity work, listing specific instances, the amount contributed, and amount of time devoted to each. I think I'll explain why I said nil, because maybe it's the way the question was framed.
It's just in order, Madam. That question is in order.
Yeah, because I have contributed to building of churches, like when I was in Eldoret. I used to live in Eldoret when I was working in Elgeyo Marakwet. We built a church, and I have paid school fees to several.
But this one, you said it's nil, and I will take this one as nil. What you're explaining is just basically what you're thinking now. But if you've been going to church and giving church donations, paying fees for children, it ought to be here in writing.
I'm very sorry that
So we'll take it that basically you are very stingy, you can't assist anybody in your life.
Or maybe somebody was feeling for her.
No, I feel it myself.
Then on questionnaire number, on referees, so there's no trace of these people. We all know maybe if you want to find them, where shall we get them? On question number 31. Just told us Mr. Godfrey Kikonji, Dr. Joseph Hisa Kwoba,
Yes.
no address.
Yeah, okay. I think that was an omission and I'm very sorry. I only...
Why they're asking this question is very simple.
Yes.
Go to your referee on your CV.
Yes.
Mr. Godfrey Kikochi, the count, everything is there.
Yes.
But here, you are very mean with the information. Even the numbers may be of wrong characters you've given us, not the real people here. Go back to Honorable Joseph. Proceed, please, now.
As I proceed, you know, Chair, sometimes we normally go astray with our issues. Maybe, you know, when Madam Monica Feather was appointed by His Excellency the Governor, there's a forum which was formed. And through that forum, Mr. Chair, Madam Monica makes some allegations that the outgoing CEC, when handing over, he should not hand over less than 50-page document. So I don't know, how sure are you that you are going to be approved?
I will explain. I did not say that he will hand over to me. I said he should just write a comprehensive handing over report, not to me specifically.
But you are just an appointee, not yet approved, not yet vetted. So you are talking as who?
I think in that, now that I had not yet been appointed nor vetted, I was talking just like a citizen, because that he had made a comment. So I was just commenting and saying, kindly, now that you have been a CC member, you should be concentrating on writing maybe a comprehensive report and not maybe busy making other allegations on social media.
Okay, thank you, Chair. My question is, now explain to this committee your sources of income and your financial net worth.
My
As per
financial
now.
net worth is 30 million, and it is mainly land, parcels of land, and then I also do a little dairy farming and farming of maize. So I have...
Madam Feather, you know, we don't want to be taking circles. Look at your questionnaire number 23. No, we don't want to be taking circles as children here. Is there any mention of land anywhere in that 23? Mention of any parcel of land?
Okay, number 23 talks about sources of income.
Yes.
And it says list sources and amounts of all income received during the calendar year preceding your nomination and in the current calendar year.
That is okay, yes. But now, where is the position of the parcel of land? Which parcel of land? Can we have the particulars of the land? That is giving us a sample of 30 million.
Okay, I did not list them here because the question just said statement of net worth. State your financial net worth. Maybe I did not understand the question, Honorable Chair.
No, sir, no, you can now list for us because we shall write.
Now that you want to give us the parcel of land, give us the names of the portions of land.
I have written them somewhere in a notebook. Because this is land, this is property that I co-own with my husband. So when I was filling this, so actually I wrote the parcel
Why
of
we
land
don't want those
amount.
notebooks near you? We don't want to be used for some other purposes apart from the interviews. So we leave that portion for now. Honorable Senator, you had something to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that if it's a parcel of land, if it's in Naitiri, how many acres? If it's in Bungoma or maybe in Chwele.
Yeah, that one I can
if
respond.
If you have a house.
Yes. Those ones are very basic. House in Lungai, give us those particulars.
Good. I have...
Because Speaker, what she has written here does not amount to 30 million. It only amounts to around...
That's the sources of income, but now her net worth. The cumulative value of her wealth is what's 30 million.
Thank you.
Yes, give us the particulars, please.
Okay, so the first parcel of land is the land where we live in Naitiri. It is around 10 million Kenya shillings.
How many acres are those ones?
That is around 6 acres plus the developments they are on.
Yes.
So it's around 10 million Kenya shillings.
Yes.
Then we have a plot that we are developing at Naitiri Market. We have valued it at 7 million. And then we have another parcel of land in Naitiri again, valued around 1.5 million. Then we have ancestral land which has been subdivided, and my husband has 2.5 acres.
Located where?
In Matili, Kimilili.
Yes.
Yeah, that one I think he valued it at around 8 million.
It can't.
Actually, it's in a municipality. So,
Matili. The Matili, we know the Matili technical. Around that Matili.
Towards Kimilili. Because one plot is around, it's going to around 1 million. And you know, like 1 acre has, I think, eight plots. So it is even more than 8 million. It could be a little bit more.
Yes?
Yes. It could be around 16 million, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, if it's 16 million, that means you are more than what you gave us in terms of 30 million.
Yeah, but you know, we were just estimating. You know, at
It's
times
okay,
land,
it's okay, it's okay,
yeah,
it's okay.
yes,
Honorable
we were
Joseph,
just
you are done with the
estimating.
question? Yes, Honorable Muhongo, you go.
Madam Monica, morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, can you explain to this committee some of the values and principles of public service as enshrined in Article 232 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010?
So some of those values include transparency, accountability, respect for gender equity, respect for mwananchi, honesty, just to name a few.
It's okay. I'll have Honorable Stephen, you'll go. Then from Honorable Stephen, I'll go to Honorable Seneca.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good morning, Madam Feather.
Morning, Honorable.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to refer Madam Feather to the questionnaire 22, which is not 22, 29. Sorry, 29. 29. I hope we are with her there. Which is talking about having ever been adversely mentioned in an investigatory report of Parliament or any other commission of inquiry in the last 3 years. So before you respond to that, I want also to bring you to chapter 12 of the Constitution, chapter 12, which is about public and finance management, public finance, that is. And I refer to 227 subsection 1, when a state organ or any other public entity contracts for goods or services, it shall do so in accordance with a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective. Now, Madam Feather, having informed you of that, I want to come to my question. And my question is this. During your first assembly, the ad hoc committee was formed to look into the operationalization of Community Empowerment Fund, education bursary and status of pending bills in the financial year 2014 to 2015, in which you appeared before it and made submissions while serving as a chief officer in the Department of Education and Vocation Training. It was found that you contravened Section 149 of the PFM Act 2012 on the pending bills, and the committee recommended that one Miss Monica Feather, Chief Officer, Department of Education, Youth and Sports, to immediately step aside to allow for investigations and a forensic audit of accounts for unauthorized spending of up to 1,505,997 shillings on the recurrent expenditure and 72 million shillings 474,839 on development expenditure for financial 2015-2016, contrary to Section 53, subsection 1 of the PFM Act, Regulations 2015. Now, explain to the committee why you executed some of the programs in the department that were not budgeted for and approved by the County Assembly that led to the ballooning of the pending bills by then. Bearing in mind the issues we've gone through.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Member.
Yes, Honorable Judge. So, in just brief, yes, Madam, are you with us on question number 29?
So maybe...
Are we together?
Yes.
So is it right as per your feelings? Or is it right?
Yes.
The content of your answer to the questionnaire, is it right?
It is very right, because my contract as Chief Officer in Education ended actually in April 2018.
Madam, you know that report they are talking about is 2014. 2014-2015, when you are the Chief Officer in the Department of Agriculture and Irrigation.
Honorable Chair, maybe before she responds, she may say the last 3 years. If you want to tell us in the last 3 years, as per the questionnaire, she may be right, yes. But now, being an officer, we cannot run away from what an officer ought to be. In the questionnaire, they're talking about the last 3 years. So it was just to lead you to the question that I was going to present.
Thank you.
And maybe because you are on oath, Madam Feather, we know you are in Kisumu currently. I want to believe I'm right.
Yes, you are.
Are you sure that after this vetting, there will be no discoveries that there has been any investigation or a commission of inquiry or report from the Assembly or Parliament concerning your character and professionality?
There has never been any inquiry whatsoever.
Madam, you know what we don't want to engage you in is bringing here some very nasty stuff. We have a report arising from the Makemo Dam inquiry. Are you aware of that report? Are you aware there was such an investigation recommending you as a charge of 1.9 million for spending more than what was required to be paid out? Are you aware? Even before I became the speaker, this outgoing term. This is a report of PAC 2015. And the recommendations are very clear that basically the committee found out that the chief officer was one Monica Feather, acted in violation of Section 149, 1A and B of the Public Financial Management Act, and therefore invoked Article 226(5) of the Constitution 2010 and regulate the Treasury such as you 1.941536, which you did not pay. And that aside, during the inquiry you went before the committee, in that committee was chaired by Honorable, just confirm, Honorable Joseph Makuda. And during the inquiry, there was admission on your part that you received 50,000 from the contractor. It's on record. Do you accept that position? We are not aware of this inquiry.
Honorable
Are you
Chair,
aware of this committee inquiry where you appeared as a member with the one Mr. Wipoholo?
Honorable Chair, maybe, okay, allow me respond.
Yes, please.
And I would wish that I start with what Honorable Stephen has asked.
Yes.
Because he has said
you know
that,
what we are asking with him is one thing.
Yes.
Was there any investigation? Have you ever appeared before any public entity like Parliament under inquiry? Your answer is no. He's talked of 3 years, which was your last 3 years in office. Mine have gone further, and I have 3 more reports to show you. So be able to come out clearly.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. I was indeed a chief officer for agriculture, irrigation in 2014-2015. And the question which Honorable Stephen has said, he has talked about, is in education, about an amount of 1.5 and
But Chair,
amount of 72.
Let me repeat so that she can be at par.
Yes,
And
kindly say the dates because
you cannot.
yes.
You cannot. What we are talking about. Now that you are in office, I want to read it through and take note. During the first assembly, the ad hoc committee was formed to look into the operationalization of Community Empowerment Fund. You remember that?
Community
Empowerment Fund,
Yes.
education bursary and status of pending bills in the financial year 2014-2015. Then you appeared before the committee and made submissions while serving as a chief officer in the Department of Education and Vocational Training.
When
you
was
appeared,
that, the dates kindly?
Wait, coming to that. Now, it was found that you contravened Section 149 of the PFM Act 2012 when you appeared before the committee on the pending bills of the committee recommended that you, being the chief officer, then you are in education.
And these issues were in education.
Hold on. Youth and sports. Then, to step aside for investigation and forensic audit of accounts for unauthorized spending of 1,505,997 shillings on the recurrent expenditure and 72 million shillings 474,839 on development expenditure, that is financial year 2015-2016, contrary to section 53 subsection 1 of the PFM regulations 2015. Madam Salano, if you ask the dates, my question will be, can you agree that you ever appeared before any committee or not? You know, we should begin from there. If you ever appeared before any committee on these issues or not, the issue of Bungoma Dam and the issue of expenditure in the Department of Education, Vocational Training.
Oh, thank you, Honorable Chair. On the issue of Bungoma Dam, I will agree that I appeared. For this other one, maybe I forgot. But I would say that in the event that we had spent money and implemented policies and strategies of government in the respective ministries, and in exercise of the function of oversight, the Pick and Pack used to call us after an audit report or even before audits to give reports on how we have spent money. It was actually routine. But this recommendation that I was to step aside, Honorable Chair, I am not aware.
You are not aware?
I am not aware, especially for the case of education. I am not aware because This was 2015, 2016. And if there was such a recommendation, I think there must have been a mechanism of implementing such a report.
It's okay. Now, that's
yes.
education, 2014, 2015.
Yes.
Now, on the same line, the issue of Makemo Dam. Yes.
Because we are on record, this issue of financial misappropriation or misuse or misplacement was for financial year 2015-2016. That is where on recurrent there was an authorized expenditure of 1,505,997 shillings, and on development vote expenditure that was not authorized by this assembly was 72,474,839. So where you sit, know that that is there.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, but it's unfortunate that I'm really not aware about the facts of the case, because even about the expenditure of 72 million, I'm not sure what items they were.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, you have just read probably, this is a PAC report of this House of this Assembly.
2015, 2016, chaired by Honorable.
And the nominee was appeared.
She was summoned, she appeared.
And she agreed.
And there was recommendations.
And then she was surcharged for the same.
1.9 million.
So, Chair, how will the Assembly run away from its own committee, which the nominee did not clear with the Assembly?
Allow me to comment,
yes,
Honorable
please.
Chair, about Makemo Dam. I'll go back and just say a little history about these projects. They were in the Department of Irrigation, where the county government was rehabilitating around 7 dams. If I could remember, because it has been quite some time, we had a dam called Namasanda, we had Brigadier Dam.
Those terms, we are aware of those
Yes.
terms. We are very specific on
on
Makemo, and
yes.
you are aware of this company that we are calling it here 64 Civil Works Limited.
Yes.
In which is their own evidence, which is on hands at here, you went ahead to receive 50,000 from the contractor.
Yes.
And you also went ahead to appear for the committee and owned up that indeed you are given 50,000, and the committee were very specific that you be surcharged 1.9 million, which at the time you were exiting this county executive and the chief officer 2018 in October, you had not been able to pay the same. Do you agree with that?
And Honorable Chair, if I could be given time to
Yes,
explain.
please. Yes, please.
Yes, because it's good if honorable members can know the facts of the case, because I know I was a chief officer, I was an accounting officer, and we were under strict instructions as accounting officer to carry out our duties diligently so that the county does not lose any money. So about Makemo Dam, I'm really very sorry to say that I was, I don't know which term I can use, but I was a victim of circumstances, because the then MCA of the area disagreed with the contractor. He called me and said I should not pay the contractor, but I said I'm here as an accounting officer, I follow the law, and I think I was not surcharged because there was no point of me being surcharged, and I'll say why. The contractor did his work and wrote a letter asking us to pay him around 8 million Kenya shillings. The contractual sum was around 9.67 million, I can't remember. But I'm able to remember the facts of the case, because this is a case that really haunted us as a Department of Agriculture. The minister appeared, gave his statement, the contractor gave his statement, I gave my statement, the irrigation officers gave their statements.
Madam, to assist you.
Yes.
There was a team doing the inspection of the project.
Yes.
Their recommendation was basically they pay 50%. Okay?
Yes.
And you, as a chief officer, you paid 70%.
Yes, and I'll
Who
explain
was
why.
instructing you to pay 70% if the inspection team said 50%, but you on your own volition, you paid 70%?
And I'll explain if you give me time,
Yes, please.
Honorable Chair, because this is quite a serious issue, and what I know, if everybody understood the facts of the case, I will be vindicated, because that is why up to this point I have not been surcharged. So I actually, when the contractor asked that we pay him 8 million, we sent, before paying, I sent an inspection team to the ground. This inspection team was supposed to go with the bills of quantities, so that if item 1, let's say the silting of the dam, maybe you can write it so that, because I'll be speaking
Madam,
systematically.
we have time from, I'm asking, this
Yes.
is not just arising from here. It's a query that arose from Auditor General's report, which was flagged out. You appeared with the one Mr. Wepuholu, the companies were all called the contractor, and as we are talking now, those recommendations stands up to now. If you never paid, it still haunts you up to now.
Honorable
But
Chair.
if I could be allowed to explain until the end.
Honorable Chair.
Yes, please, Honorable Stephen.
Just a short one. Madam Salano, do you know that this house, as an assembly of Bungoma, this is a house of rules and procedure, and its role is actually to oversight. I think you are aware.
I am.
The core mandate of this house is oversight. And the precedence that has been set by some officers who refuse to heed the recommendations of this assembly has been there. Let me ask you a question. Are you part of the officers in this county that have ever refused to heed the recommendations of this house or not?
No.
Are you sure?
I am sure, because the surcharging authority is not me. I cannot go and surcharge myself. And Honorable Chair, if you could just allow me explain this Makemo Dam so that members can understand, because I could be victimized just for the sake of victimization if you don't understand the case of
You know
yes.
why I'm asking this? This report is for these honorable members.
Yes.
And you appeared before that committee chaired by Honorable Makuda by then.
Yes.
After explaining before the committee by then, still it found you culpable to be surcharged. It's not, and I believe you explained before this committee now. Can this committee overturn what was explained before the other committee 2016? Can we overturn that decision? That is basically part of the record of this assembly. And we have no jurisdiction over those issues.
But I could explain my point, because there was a recommendation, Honorable Chair. So I just wanted to explain how I sent my officers to do an inspection. They came with an inspection report, and under remarks, they said pay half so that the contractor can do this work.
Yes, you pay half. How much did you pay?
Good. I paid as per the way they had done the inspection, because like the silting, they said this person has done 100%, and the silting was costing 5.4 million. Then I think embankment was around 1.5. This person had done 90%, which came to around 1 point something.
Let me read for you what was the recommendation so that we do something else apart from that Makemo term. Committee recommendations. Former Chief Officer Monica Feather. The committee found out that the Chief Officer acted in violation of the section 149(1)A and B of the Public Finance Management Act, and therefore invokes Article 226(5) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and directs that the County Treasury surcharges the Chief Officer a sum of 1,941,536 that was paid over and above the 50% payment that was recommended by the inspection and accepted committee.
So,
you're getting it?
Yes.
Now, if we go around this issue, this report is in our archives.
Yes.
We cannot overturn it from this committee of vetting you.
Yes.
So, Honorable Seneca, before we go back to this other issues, yes.
Yeah, Chair, I wanted you to read all the recommendations of the committee. If
Yes.
it's possible. I wanted you to read all the recommendations of the committee, the PAC committee.
It's what I've read.
That is just one of them.
It was just one specifically on her. Yes.
I think, Chair, for this committee, we have noted.
We've noted.
Yes.
Yes.
And Madam Monica has responded what she knows and what she understands. So we have noted, Honorable Chair. Let's move on another question.
Now, lastly, on the same issue of the positivity on scholarship.
Yes.
When scholarship were introduced, you were the chief officer of education.
Yes.
Whether acting in that capacity. Was there any committee that we made adverse recommendation against you or not?
I am not aware about any adverse recommendation about the scholarship on my part.
Now, there was a committee set up, and it was chaired by one Honorable Charles Nangulu, MC Namwela, Chair, PAC Committee. It was in July 2018. When did you leave your office? November 2018.
No.
Which month?
In fact, my contract lapsed in April, and then I left on 30th June 2018.
Let's go back to your ESCC form, because you filled in the particulars are there and very clear. I want to assist you. In your ECC form, you've made an indication of June 2018. But the report was done, and I'll just read to you one of the recommendations. You are in charge of petty cash in that department. You are in charge of petty cash for scholarship.
Petty cash.
Madam, stop feigning ignorance. These members used to come there and used to give them money for shopping of scholarship girls and boys.
Yes.
That's petty cash.
Okay.
To a chief officer like you holding millions in your locker is like petty cash because you're doing the shoppings for them to go to school.
No, but that is not petty cash, Honorable Chair. Petty cash.
What is it?
No,
the one you are giving, you know, I'm having a record here. You are giving 5, 10 for their shopping to go to school.
No, we can't classify it as petty cash.
It's what?
That was money that had been planned for, and
Sawa.
Yeah,
now, in the committee recommendations, and you had specific place of procuring shoppings for school-going children, it was Hetias.
Yes.
It was Hetias.
Yes.
A child could come with a letter of scholarship, then with a letter for school is going to Kamusinga, he goes to the shop and picks items. Then you pay later on. That was the position?
Yes.
Now, during the investigation fact-finding, it came out that some of the receipts of the beneficiaries that you sent to the purchases, which were being brought to you for verification,
yes,
that there were some household goods like cooking oil, rice, salt, iron box had been given to the student going to school. Was it possible that a child going to Kamusinga was carrying a sack of rice or a sack of sugar or a carton of oil, cooking oil?
Can I respond to you?
Please respond.
And now that you've given me this chance to respond, even before I respond on that one of shopping, I think you did not give me enough time to respond on the issue of Makemo, because I just wondered if you could just give me 3 minutes on Makemo Dam.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because this issue of surcharging of 1.9 million, that is almost 2 years' salary, somebody's salary. And if you have been, because that was a recommendation by the PAC, we looked at it. Okay, although I can say I was really not even told that I have been surcharged, because we appeared before the PAC. We said, the committee said we pay 50%, but it was not a professional recommendation. Like PAC can come and say, fine, you are not supposed to have paid.
Chair, why did the Auditor General flag it out?
No.
If it was not, if it was not a problem, why did the Auditor General flag that one out?
Thank you,
You know,
Honorable
Madam,
Chair.
I've just clarified to you, but basically what we are showing you here is not our own from the Assembly here.
Good.
Flagged out by the Auditor General's office for investigation. I've shown you PAC. I also having here implementation committee report saying not implemented up to now.
And Chair, what was the purpose of sending the inspection team?
Kindly answer those questions
Now,
together. Then we move on.
Honorable Chair, I will confirm here that it was not an Auditor General's report. And that is where we begin from, because this amount was paid in December 2014, even before the financial year ended. In December 2014. So what I wanted to say is this: we sent inspection team, and just take 3 minutes.
Let me correct you.
Yes.
What I'm referring on and quoting repeatedly is Public Accounts Committee on Bungoma Dam, chaired by Honorable Joseph Makuta. It's not just a site shows. You're getting it. So, if you're not aware it was a PAC report, it is a PAC report that was further sent to the Committee of Implementation, which is here equal with me, to confirm compliance or not. Are you getting me?
Yes.
It's okay.
Good. If you could just give me 3-4 minutes.
I'll
to
give it in
respond.
those 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. So
And the
I was
members
saying,
kindly don't interject, allow her to answer those questions.
yeah, so I am saying this report, or the PAC report, was not based on an Auditor General's report, because the audit had not yet been done. In fact, it was an ongoing project. So I sent my officers to the ground to do an inspection, because the contractor had said, we gave him work, and he started working in September 2014. September 2014. In December, the same year, 2014, he asked that we pay him 8 million Kenya shillings, because he had said that work was complete. So before you pay, we send an inspection team. So this inspection team goes with a form that is supposed to be filled according to the work done and according to bills of quantities. So I was giving an example, like item 1, desilting. The inspection report said desilting was complete at 100%, and 100% was 5.4 million. Me as an accounting officer, I was supposed to pay this person all the 5.4 million. Then, embankment, they said maybe 90%. It's unfortunate that this inspection report may not have been part of what you are reading, and that is why I have to tell members about this report. So, embankment was 1.5 million, and it had been done at 90%. Sanitation, 50%. Toilets, 50%. Then, under remarks, these officers who were not professional just came and wrote that us, as the committee, we recommend that the contractor be paid half. Half is 50%, but I paid 70%. Why did I pay 70%? I went and said, okay, this person has done desilting, 100%, embankment, 1.90%, sanitation, 50%, and I can remember what was on that, because this is a report that we kept coming to the county assembly to present. So I discovered that this guy had, the contractor had done 77.6% of the work. But I paid 70%, which was 20% more than what these unprofessional officers recommended.
The problem we are finding in your answer,
yes,
on your own volition,
yes,
you set up a committee to go and inspect and bring a report.
Yes.
You are calling the same people unprofessional before the house.
Yes, and I'm saying unprofessional
set up
because,
by you,
yes,
to go inspect, bring a report for you to pay.
Honorable Chair.
On the way, they become unprofessional to advise you to pay. As they are doing so, they are saying 50%, you say no, you pay 70%.
Yes,
It's okay.
and I paid 70% because this person had done work. Because what was the reason of inspection?
Honorable Chair, maybe before she goes, we don't want to interject, Honorable Chair, but this has to go with her answers.
Yes, please, Honorable Stephen.
Why did Madam Feather send unprofessional people to go and investigate or establish or assess something that she knew they are not professionally fit, so that they bring results and you call them unprofessional before the House?
You are not on Hansard. No, be on Hansard.
And why did she refuse to rely on the report from the officers she sent herself?
Good.
Yes, Honorable Muhongo.
Honorable Speaker, maybe from Honorable Muhongo.
Chair.
That forms another basis.
Let's have order, please.
That forms another basis because, Madam Salano, if you send people yourself with the authority,
Yes.
and I know when you send them, they spent government money. They used government resources. And they were not professional. You are telling us that again that was a mistake on your part.
And Chair, maybe
Yes, Honorable
to add
Jimmy.
on that, maybe the nominee can tell us the composition of that team. Did we have people from Public Works? Did we have people from procurement? Did we have... Can we get to know the membership of that team so that we can gauge whether they were professional or unprofessional?
Thank you very much.
You know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chair, you know we are dealing with...
Yes, members, I think I'm looking at my time.
No, as we move on, Honorable
Yes,
Chair.
yes.
This is a report that was approved in this Honorable House.
Yes.
And we have gotten the gist of the report.
Yes.
And the responses from the nominee.
Yes.
From the onset, Honorable Speaker, I had begged that you allow us to ask other more questions. Because we have noted everything, Chair.
Yes.
We will give our...
Yes.
Yes.
Members, allow Honorable Muhongo, I'm done with you. Honorable Mutiembu. Yes, then Honorable Luseneka, you prepare. Mutiembu, you ask your question, then we go to Luseneka in that order.
Honorable Chair, you gave me 5 minutes. If I could just conclude.
Honorable,
really.
we've noted your answers. The reports are here.
Yeah.
Even the people you are telling us of
Yeah.
you sent, I've looked at the team that are still up now in that department. They can't be quacks. Honorable Mutiembu, you proceed.
Chair, thank you. I just want the nominee to explain how you will resolve any potential conflict of interest as CECM in the county of Bungoma, including the procedure you will follow in determining these areas of concern, conflict of interest.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. About conflict of interest, in the event that I would suspect that there is conflict of interest, there is a procedure of following it. Usually, you declare it, and it is usually as the case arises. It depends on the nature of the conflict of interest. So once it has been declared, then, and it is usually specific, because if you could give me an example, then I can be able to respond accordingly. But for conflict of interest, usually you declare and say maybe this is how you will deal with it, depending, it is as the case arises.
But as a CEC, you know those conflicts. You can cite one,
Yes.
and you can cite one, and if it arises, what will you do as a CCM?
Yeah, usually I would refer it to the human resource management, because they have been trained to deal with such issues. Yeah. It would be dealt by the human resource management. You declare it and give to the next maybe department, like the human resource department, to deal with it.
It's okay, Honorable Mutiembu. Honorable Luseneka.
Thank you, Chair. We have this program called Farm Input Support Program, whereby the governor promised to give farmers some farm inputs. This program was started, I think, in 2014, and it has been going on. Looking at my simple mathematics, the governor had promised to give out 1,500 planting fertilizer and 1,500 for top dressing. That is 3,000 bags per ward. For 45 wards, those are around 135,000 bags. From simple calculation, times 3,000 shillings per bag, that is around 405 million shillings. You've not put on the issue of seeds. Assuming seeds will cost around 150 million. That's around 500 million. I hope we are together. Now, this is a huge investment, investing 500 million in one project. That's a huge project. How can you ensure that the fertilizer is given to deserving cases? Because from the lists, we've been receiving complaints from our wards that the lists of beneficiaries is always tampered with. You find that a village elder comes with his own relatives. So how will you ensure that this fertilizer is given to deserving cases? And number two, how will you ensure that the fertilizer is used for intended purposes? Because we find that these people that we are giving fertilizer, they are selling it before even getting at home. They sell even from the point they are receiving the same. And number three, how will you measure the impact of this farm input support program? If you can give me the answers to those three questions, I'll appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. This input support program was initiated in 2013-2014 financial year at the first devolution. And I was the pioneer chief officer who implemented this program. We even put in place an input support strategy, some guidelines, but it needed to have come to the county assembly in the form of a policy, but I left before it was put into a policy. So Honorable Senator has talked about how we'd ensure that we have cases that are deserving. One, we actually had put vetting committees in place, and these vetting committees included somebody from a faith-based organization, a youth, a women representative, somebody from the disabled, and a representative of the member of the county assembly. So if there were cases where non-deserving cases were benefiting, I think this was about the integrity of the committee, because we actually trained those committees on how to do the vetting. But unfortunately, even those who were in that committee and maybe were not deserving could be the first ones to share before now they start giving to the others. So this was just about maybe if they would do that and we discover, I think we needed to have now an independent team that would go again checking whether these committees are doing the right thing or not. But it's all about integrity, and at times it's not very easy to enforce integrity issues, especially if the committees are not doing the right thing. But in the event that they would not be doing the right thing, we would easily replace them so that we get those who can actually do the right thing. And then about ensuring that the fertilizer is used for the intended purpose. I'll give an example, like the issue of the scholarship, where we told parents to go to the supermarket to pick items for school. So we were so shocked when one of the officers came and said, "Madam, some people are buying sugar. Some even were buying shoes. Some were buying lesos." So what we did is, we didn't leave them to go and shop by themselves. We had to get officers to stand at the till, so that if this person has come with a kikapu, with school items, with sugar, coffee, these are vulnerable people. You can't really even blame them so much. So we had to now start removing the unauthorized items. So now in the case of fertilizer, there are those who are actually vulnerable. They really deserve this, but they'll go and sell. So to ensure that they do not sell, we shall have to ensure that before somebody is given fertilizer, we have to visit their farm. So we shall have to empower the frontline extension officers with a motorcycle. So he will actually move with this list that has been approved to check whether really this person has land or not before we can approve issuing out the fertilizer. It is an expensive venture, but we'll have to do that so that we don't see cases where a farmer is given fertilizer and instead of using it on the farm, he is selling to get money, maybe to go and drink busa. Then about the impact.
Honorable Chair, I disrupt a little kindly.
Yes, Honorable Stephen.
Honorable Chair, any officer who is put in place or in office for the purpose of the government or the people, I want to believe that he or she knows the articles of the Constitution, in that when you feign ignorance of the law, it's no defense. Madam Salano, Article 227, I read it before I began, and I know you are conversant with this article. I want to repeat, so that as you explain to us in very many words, you should know that when a state organ or any other public entity contracts for goods or services, it shall do so in accordance with a system that is fair, equitable, and I want to underline the word transparent, competitive, and effective, cost effective. So when you say in passing that people went to the supermarket and they were buying lesos, and somebody has to stand at the till to ensure that you delete that. Madam Chair, Honorable Chair, Madam Salano should be serious with us. For heaven's sake, that is not a statement that you should give before this committee. It reflects a lot of incompetency on the part of the officer in charge of the public finance.
Yes, Honorable Mohongo.
Chair, I'm lacking words to use, but I had just a question. Because time is not on our side, I might be left out. You know, Madam Monica was very lucky in the first regime. She worked in 2 different departments. I want you to share with us as a committee the achievements and the challenges you went through during your tenure.
To achievements. She has not answered my third question.
Kindly finish. I was going to give that direction that finish the last question.
Okay.
Then I'll go to Honorable Mohongo's issue of achievements.
Okay, about the impact of the fertilizer. Immediately we gave out the first batch of this fertilizer. The county executive committee member put in place a task force that went around visiting farms of the farmers who had received the fertilizer, and the report is out there. It may be unfortunate that we didn't share it with the county assembly, but where we had, we did some baseline survey and found that the average yield per acre of these vulnerable farmers was 5 bags. Some were even just getting like 2 bags per acre. But when we gave them the basal and top dressing fertilizer, the yield per acre went up to between 10 and 15 bags. And how are we measuring this yield? Usually we do what we call a crop cut, where you go and harvest 10 meters by 10 meters over the crop, and then you are able to extrapolate. So that is how we were measuring the impact. We do a crop cut, and we compare with the baseline information before the intervention of the input support program. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable George had a question. No, it was Honorable Mhongo. Yes. The one he was asking your achievements in the first two departments, the one for agriculture and the one for education.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
We actually achieved several milestones. Yeah, because first of all, the Ministry of Agriculture has very many core functions, although the core mandate is to ensure food and nutrition security. So during my time as chief officer, we used what we call value chain approach to agricultural development. So for the maize value chain, we saw like we needed to increase production and productivity. So we decided that we shall give out subsidized fertilizer. And there is one that may not have come up so boldly, because much as we were giving free fertilizer to vulnerable groups, we also had a scheme where we sold around 18,000 bags at 800 shillings to other farmers who could afford to just buy. So that was about the maize value chain. Then, you all know that in Mount Elgon we have, they grow various crops, including Irish potatoes. So we purchased 500 bags of seed potato from the ADC Molo and gave to 13 groups in Mount Elgon who are bulking these potatoes so that they could give to other farmers as seed. And in fact, as we speak, the good variety of the Irish potato that we eat is as a result of what we did in 2014-2015. We also promoted tissue culture bananas. We procured several, almost 200,000 tissue culture bananas and gave out to farmers who are willing to plant. We also bought several tractors to subsidize mechanization, because we realized that the challenge facing our farmers is very expensive mechanization services. So we bought tractors so that we could hire them out at a subsidized rate. In cooperative development, because I also dealt with that docket, we assisted the Musese Cooperative Society under the umbrella Bungoma Cooperative Society to purchase the Musese coffee mill. I think I also forgot to say that when I was in education as Chief Officer Education, Youth Affairs and Sports, I also acted as Chief Officer Livestock and Fisheries when one of our colleagues passed on. So in livestock, we also bought several animals and distributed to our farmers. And then,
Madam, on that issue of distributing dairy animals to farmers, you as a professional agriculturist, from your explanation here, is it worth giving a farmer a dairy animal? He has no knowledge of how to keep the animal, he has no napier grass or feeds to take care of this animal, where they end up feeding them sugarcane offcuts. Is it logical? Is it worth it?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Your question is a very good concern, because when you are introducing a project, there has to be a very good, elaborate concept paper about how this project will be initiated, implemented, the monitoring and evaluation mechanism, so that the project is sustainable. So the concerns that you are raising are true, because I think the success rate of that program could have been around 40%, because most of the animals maybe
Be sincere and say it was
Yes.
only 20%.
Yeah.
Because I'm aware of some of the neighbors who never had napier grass, had
Yes.
nothing, but you gave them dairy animal. After a month, it was not there. He died because of poor feeding and care, taking care of the same.
Yes. Yeah, and that is why we would still do that project, but improve on the implementation process. That's what I can say. Because it's noble. Even in Kakamega, we are having the One Cow initiative. It has really succeeded, even for our people. Livestock projects they last long, Honorable Chair. They are very, very noble, but it's about implementation which should be streamlined. Thank you.
Darius, please.
Thank you, Chair. And I would like you to explain this.
You're not on Hansard, please.
Thank you, Chair.
Kindly, please.
I would like you to explain to this committee on areas like there are several donors funding to this docket. Would likely elaborate on them and how you are going to ensure that the target farmers benefit from them in this particular, if you are given this particular chance as the CCM of.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really agree with you, Honorable Vitalis, that agriculture is one department that has several donor-funded initiatives to increase production and productivity. And these programs have really been very, very beneficial in ensuring that our people have food and they have money in their pocket. So to ensure that there is efficiency, usually most of these programs have a procedure of implementation. So to ensure that maybe the challenges are minimal, we have what we call the monitoring and evaluation, the reporting mechanism, and even training the staff who implement these programs. So if we build the capacity of this staff, then they are able to implement these programs efficiently. We have a challenge where a program comes, our officers really, they need to be taken even for refresher courses so that they're able to implement well. Because unfortunately, in our county, there's a project that has been even discontinued because it was not maybe implemented well as opposed to other counties. So we even have to do benchmarking. And then another way of ensuring that some of these programs are successful is strengthening what we call the vertical consultation and horizontal consultation. Vertical is where we are consulting with the National Agriculture Department, Kilimo House. Horizontal is where we are learning best practices from our colleagues in the other counties. And I'm happy to say that we have such a mechanism called JASCOM, and the steering committee is even chaired by our own His Excellency Governor Lusaka. So if we can really have a platform where we are sharing experiences and sharing best practices, our programs will go on very well. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Vitalis.
Chair, I would like our nominee to mention anything concerning the NARIP project that is going on in this part of this county, and I want you to tell us if it has achieved its goal or not, and if it, at what level. Is it continuing, or with time, when you come in, are you going to lobby to make sure that it's a project that continues to helping our people in this country? Yeah,
thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. I think you are asking your question from a point of knowledge that it's good that maybe you are aware of this NARIC program. It is coming to an end in Bungoma County in December. The funding is ending in December, and but it will go up to June next year, just winding up. We need to carry out an impact assessment. Some counties have already gotten phase 2 of the funding, but for Bungoma, it was discontinued because of a few challenges here. So when this committee approves if you approve me, the first thing will be to go out to the field and check what impact, the challenges, then understand there is a window where we can lobby. The CCM is supposed to quickly write a letter signed by the governor In fact, we are even late because one of the officers called me and said, "Madam, are you able to write this letter?" I said, "No, I have not been, I'm not overzealous. I cannot sign any letter because I have not been approved by the county assembly." So there's a letter that needs to be written urgently to this organization,
But
the
from
World
what
Bank.
you say, the governor can sign that letter. Why can't he just do that work on his own? So that, because your fate lies in this committee's hands.
Yes.
And you are very strict on what you are doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so what I'm trying to say is, the CEC member is supposed to draft the letter, and I think through the governor. But as we stand now, there is a vacuum. So
But
we are
never say
hoping
it's
that
a vacuum.
soon.
Madam, don't say it's a vacuum. When you leave office, you also have directors. It cannot, we have people acting in those offices. It cannot be called a vacuum.
Exactly.
Yes.
I really
So when you say a
agree with
vacuum,
you.
it's like you are telling us basically the government has collapsed, which is not the true position.
Yeah, so understand there is that window of lobbying where a letter has to be written, then they will consider to fund Bungoma. But as we speak, Bungoma does not have phase 2 of that program.
It's okay. Honorable Chemion, please.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I looked at your CV. It's a very good CV in terms of knowledge in agriculture. In Bungoma, we have issues that are ailing this sector. What are these issues that are ailing the agriculture sector in Bungoma? And if approved by the House, how are you going to surmount those issues that are ailing our sector?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say that our county is really endowed with the factors of production, agriculture production. We have rain almost throughout the year. We have land that is arable. Around 700,000 acres of land are arable. But the challenges that our farmers are facing is, one, rudimentary mechanization. They use these small animals and ox plow because tractor hire services are very expensive. Secondly, they do not have access to affordable credit so that they can invest. They actually don't do agribusiness. And you know, when you do agribusiness, it means you have to invest some money, but they don't have money to invest. Then secondly, much as we are receiving enough rainfall, we have months that are dry. During these months, if our farmers can embrace irrigation, then they are able to produce all year round. So some of the solutions to these problems is to ensure that we are just supposed to increase productivity. So how do we increase productivity? If it is the case of, let's say, dairy farming, we encourage, maybe we subsidize AI services so that our small indigenous animals can start, we can upgrade them so that they can produce more milk. When I was acting as Chief Officer Livestock, I thought we would even come up with a liquid nitrogen plant so that we can have the sexed semen to inseminate our animals. So if you can have that nitrogen plant, it will really go a long way in improving the dairy subsector. And then we even have cases where we can plant the upland rice, Nerika. You know, people love rice during December. So we have some specialized rice that can grow in dry areas. So apart from maize, we can have our farmers maybe growing rice and developing the poultry value chain also. We have the Chwele slaughterhouse, which can be a marketing channel for our chicken. So you can have a scheme where we are giving our farmers some poultry, subsidizing poultry. Then our farmers can have money and food in their stomach. Thank you.
Honorable Makari.
Thank you, Chair. I will be very brief this time round. Monica Feather, how are you?
I'm very fine, Mheshimiwa.
Now, you come from Naitiri Kabuyefwe. Who is your MCA in Naitiri Kabuyefwe?
Honorable Wafula White.
Is serving his second, third, or fourth term?
I think this is his first term, because what I know, he used to be a councillor some time back, but he has been out like 15 years now. He was lucky to be elected this time.
Who is your counterpart at the national level for agriculture?
Honorable Mithika Linturi.
The PS?
PS is Philip Hamasa Kero. They have not yet been vetted. Okay, the PSs are two. There is Honorable Philip Hamasa Kero and Honorable Harry Kimtai.
All right, now you are the only carryover. I think you and the nominee for finance, you are the only carryover from the Lusaka regime of 2013 to 17. What do you think sets you apart to have been again lifted from that previous regime to serve in this one?
Thank you very much. And I don't know, I think you're putting me in a position where I should really maybe blow my own trumpet, because as Honorable Chemion said, that my CV is quite...
it can be blown before this committee. We look at different things apart from the academic qualifications.
Good. So now,
yes.
I think what sets me apart from others is my work ethic. I think I am hardworking, and I have the knowledge, I have the skills. And I think, Honorable Chair, I would say that I have been in management in the agriculture sector for close to now 15 years, having started as a DAO in Kisumu West, a pioneer DAO, Kisumu West District, pioneer chief officer for agriculture irrigation cooperatives, acted again in livestock and fisheries.
No, Monica Feather.
I have the institutional memory.
We understand.
Also. Yes.
If work ethics could be a very good factor, could we be having an adverse report against you in this very house we are seated in?
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's not adverse report, adverse reports.
Not one. Thank you, Chair, for correction.
Yes.
Adverse, if work ethics could be a factor,
yes,
could we be having adverse reports in this assembly we are sitting in against you?
I would say these adverse reports personally are really, some further investigation needs to be done on them, and I'll be vindicated, Honorable Chair. That's what I can say, really. I will be vindicated, because I'm so peaceful in my heart that I was never such.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Monica Feather, we understand. Now, agriculture is a top-notch department with a heavy budgetary allocation. Purchase of tractors, very heavy contracts. If a person walks in your office with 10 million in a briefcase and he wants you to give him a contract, can you tell this committee what will you do? What are you going to pick the money and award the contract? Or maybe in your own thinking, can you tell the committee what you could do?
I think, and that calls for, we have this, the ethics code of ethics. And I think personally, I am a person of integrity. That one, I can proudly say I am somebody of integrity. I would decline, I would not take that money.
Leave that line of argument, because you open up Pandora box. Because if I just remind you from that...
And when she answers, speaker, let her refer to what you read.
Yes, when you say that way, you are opening up, I go back to, if you picked 50,000 from a contractor, now which model are you talking about?
Honorable Chair, the 50,000 was supervision money, and I picked it in broad daylight, because when I was paying this person, I told the contractor that I have added 50,000, which you will give us for supervision, and he did that. very openly. I
mean-
can stand for
The
that.
department was not providing you any monies for supervision?
No, we had put 150,000 for supervision.
All right.
Yes,
That's
so
okay.
we actually told him,
It was 200 and you picked 50, the balance was 150.
yeah, and which we never even got it. We didn't get, because the
It's
project
okay.
was still ongoing. Yes.
Madam, I think that line of argument avoid it because you go back there, you are taking us back to square one and
It's okay
we will
now.
be prepared
My
for that.
last point, my substantive point. Now you are coming in as a CCM for agriculture. What new programs and what new plans do you think you will bring to this department as envisioned in His Excellency the Governor's manifesto? Are there any new tricks, because you have been in this department before? Are there any new programs, new plans that you intend to push in so that we can have a turnaround in the agricultural sector?
Yeah, thank you very much. That is a very good question because personally I've been thinking seriously about it, because if our farmers or if our people, our county is endowed with rainfall, we have the land, people are energetic, they can be able to work. Why should we not have money in our pockets? So what I will do when approved, I will ensure that our farmers are embracing agribusiness. And how do you embrace agribusiness? We have to link these farmers to microfinance institution, or if not, we shall have to set up what we call a county agriculture fund. And given that also we have the JASCOM mechanism of linking counties to the national government, I was thinking about us having what we call agriculture credit guarantee scheme, where we shall have maybe, I think you've heard about this hustler fund. If it can come to benefit our farmers in such a way that we have an agriculture credit guarantee scheme where we have part of this money being taken to the banks, which can now lend to our farmers at a lesser, maybe, interest rate, so that we have very many farmers getting these low interest loans to invest in agriculture. Another idea that I was thinking about is subsidizing like the poultry, where we have groups of farmers coming together, or even if it is at individual level, they can get the day-old chicks. The county government pays for them 80 shillings, and this farmer pays 50 because a day-old chick is 130. Then after that, we shall ensure that we develop the market, because usually you start with the market. Where will this produce be sold? So once you have secured the market, then you tell these farmers to start producing. So we really have those ideas, and if I'm given a chance,
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
given 2 years, we shall really have gone ahead. Yes.
Because of the interest of time, maybe just one small one away from what you answered. From your own assessment and your encounter with this committee, do you feel this committee should approve you?
Yes. And I will say why. It's because, one,
Madam, it's us to say why if we are going to approve you. Don't answer our question. You say yes, leave it there, we'll decide, because your
Thank
fate
you,
hands.
Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Your fate hangs the committee's hands, and like with all these records around us. Honorable Kirong, you do your last question, please.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Monica, if you are appointed to the position nominated, how will you navigate your relationship with this county assembly?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think...
Chair, just to add on, basing on those two reports from PAR committee, around 3.
Honorable Chair, as she comes, just to add on that, this House has had officers who hold this House to contempt when they are called upon to appear before this house, they don't. What surety can we have from her past experience and what she has demonstrated that she will live to respect the sovereignty of the assembly of the people of Bungoma?
You can take all of them at once so that we release you. Because I was going to give the very last one, but I think it's taken it up.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll start with the one with, from Honorable Kirong about the relationship with the County Assembly, the Executive and the County Assembly. I think we are guided by the County Governments Act number 17 of 2012, because the county executive members exercise the executive authority. But the first issue is ensuring that all the plans and strategies and policies that we come up with at the executive are submitted to the county assembly for approval. So that is what I will ensure, that before any decision is made, first, if it is like an agriculture project, I have to share it with the agriculture committee. If it is a legislation, regulations, or policies, I ensure that I also submit it to the county assembly so that it is taken to the committee of delegated authority, discussed, then we are again called to elaborate maybe on that regulation to the committee of the full house. So I'll ensure that there is harmonious working relationship between the executive or my ministry and the county assembly, because we cannot escape from the county assembly given that you are the ones who approve our budgets and even all the policies and strategies. Then about where the executive holds maybe the county assembly maybe to contempt, it is very, very unfortunate, because even like the report where it is said that Monica Feather should be discharged, there need to be a mechanism. Find out why Monica Feather was not discharged. Maybe if...
Madam,
yeah, so
avoid
then,
that line.
Yeah, so at the end of
If
the
you
day...
if you don't, instead of going there,
yes,
we read other recommendations here, we may even end the session here. It may not go very far. I'm trying to protect you from...
Thank you.
Yes, if you want us to go that direction, we'll read the other recommendations, which are very advanced.
Chair, you are only moderating, but
Yes.
you are not protecting.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be on record.
Yes, I'm moderating. The one
thank you,
not
thank
protecting,
you.
moderating. So
I'm
what I'm
very
doing,
sorry.
just stick to the questions at hand. This side shows, leave them out.
Thank you, Honorable
Yes.
Chair. So I'll ensure that there is a harmonious working relationship and according to the law, so that the projects are able to be implemented and the county assembly is also able to do their oversight role. Thank you.
You can't have the last one after we've done that part of his conduct. I think we are done. Wish you all the best. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
I think speak the sheets quickly, prepare the next session for the next nominee.